I will need to make some adjustments to this. If you notice from this reference image, the clothing cover, the leather cover in front of the boots is kind of closer to themselves, and mine is a bit far apart, so I need to make corrections to that. So I go to the lowest subdivision level, and then I'm not going to use the move brush. I'll just use the move brush with symmetry turned on. Yeah, with symmetry turned on, and then I'm just gonna move this a bit closer. Let me just get a good angle to this. The bottom part is fine. Maybe I can push that even closer. This one needs to be way closer than it is right now. Let me isolate. I need to isolate one part of it. Let me isolate this part. Okay. Okay, this should be fine. Then I'll invert the selection. I'll move this move this closer. Probably somewhere around here should be fine. Maybe this one should be a bit closer, like so. Okay. And all I have to do is just to adjust the sides of it. I think they are closer now. This should be close enough. And I can start making corrections to this by just pushing this outward. Okay. So I'm just gonna fix this up. I'll come back when I'm done with that. Okay, so I'm done fixing that now. I just brought them a bit closer to themselves. So I really brought them a bit closer to themselves, like so. So I think I would just take this to a good enough height topology for more subdivisions rather than then make some more corrections on this. So let's see how many. I'm going to do the sculpted details on it before adding this rope in there. So that will be a better way to go about it. So I will let me just put this back in. Let me just divide this up some more. Okay, around 4 million should be 4 million polygons should be fine for this. Then I'll just go and create a layer for this. I'll create a new layer. Then I can go to the lowest subdivision level for this and start doing some sculpted fold details and some other corrections on top of this. So I can do like a. Okay, let me just rename this to base detail. Also going to have some kind of rope around it, so I'm going to kind of create like an illusion of rope being there, even though I've not added it there yet. So let's see, let me kind of add that in there, like especially for this top part especially for the top part, and then this other part in here. So let me start with that. I'll first start by going to the lower subdivision level. Let me see. also have some wear and tear going on in here. We're going to add that later on. But for now, let me go to the lower subdivision level for this, maybe even the lowest. Then I'll mark out where I want to have that rope should be. Then I'll just tighten that in. So it should be somewhere around. I can use symmetry for this. Should be somewhere around here. Somewhere around. Okay, there's an issue here. Let me just fix. Let me push some of this out. I'll go out of symmetry. Okay. Maybe some of those supposed to be this guy going inwards instead. That would be a better way to do it. So I'll just push some of these guys back in. So I like how the cloth cover on top of it is is already. So let me just push anything that is coming out back inwards. And something like this should be fine. Okay. I can go back to this clothing on top of it. I think with symmetry turned on, probably even need to go to a much higher an higher subdivision level. Then should be around here. But I need to push this guy downwards a bit more. Somewhere around here should be fine. I think this rope pattern should be somewhere around here. Let me just increase the subdivision level a bit more. Okay, somewhere around here should be fine. Then I can do let me invert that selection, probably even blow it out a bit. Then I can use from the deformations tab. Maybe let's try this inflate balloon. No, it should be on the opposite direction. So much. Let's see. Let me isolate this. Let's see how that looks isolated. Not good at all. I'm guessing I need to just do this by hand. So I'll just let's even try let's try this gizmo instead. I'll just scale this. No, I'll just scale this inwards. It's not even scaling properly. Let me get this facing us like so and scale this inwards. Maybe I can even use, nope, scaling in the wrong way. Still scaling in the wrong way. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Maybe push this in. Let me go out of this. Probably we need to bring that max back out. So let me just use the standard brush instead. Kind of push this inwards like so. Something like that should be fine. Yeah, this should work just fine. Then I'll go back to the boot itself. Make sure it's in one of those layers here. I think one of those layers are actually on. Then I can push this back in some more. Let me go to the lower subdivision level for this. Okay, then I can push this back in. Something like so. now the legs are kind of showing through. So let me select this guy. Let me expand this out first, like so. Then this should be fine now. Check the other piece. Let me just do this. Since I'm out of symmetry in here, I need to do this separately, a separate piece. Do this out. Okay. Push this inwards. Okay, that should be fine. Yeah, that seems fine. That works just fine. I need to do the same for the top part too. So I think this one has some gaps in there. I might just have to go back to the boot itself and then push this closer to the feet. Let me just temporarily hide. This should be the one we need. I think this is the is that it? Yes, it is. So let me just quickly rename this just to keep things organized. So I'll name this to boot cover. Okay, that's fine. Let's see what else I can adjust in here. Okay. Yes, I need to isolate this boot base itself. Probably even name this to main boots just to keep things organized. Then I won't need to isolate that. Let me just hide this boot cover for now. Then push this guy in. Okay, let's do this on symmetry turned on. I think that will save us a lot of time. It just needs to be closer to the feet. So that's when we kind of tighten, do the same thing for this top part of this boot cover. We won't be having this boot itself protruding out. So we need to just push this in. So I'll go out of symmetry now and do this out of symmetry mode. This one seems to be coming out. Let me just take down the brush size. Okay. Let me push this one out. Alright, so I can bring back the boot cover now. And I can do the same in here. So I'll need to max out. We need more regions for this though. So somewhere around, no, that's way too close. I'm just trying to figure out how high this boot should actually be. This boot cover should actually be. Let me go to the lower subdivision level. Okay. Okay. Just trying to figure out how high this boot cover should be. It's almost to the nail. Even with the boot itself, it's almost to the nail. Almost to the nail, but not on the nail. Oh, this is actually close enough though. Maybe I should just give this a bit more height. Select this. Let me do this again. Select this like so. Probably raise this up a bit. Okay, somewhere around there should be fine. Somewhere around there should be fine. Pull this out. Okay. Let me check the boots itself. I need to push some of this out. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, maybe even reduce this, push this out a bit. Okay, that's fine. So I'll select this guy now and go to a higher subdivision level. Probably this level should be fine for this. Then I would let me use the rectangular, the max rectangle instead. Okay, somewhere around here should be a good fit for this. Okay, let me just do something a bit smaller like so. Around here seems fine, I guess. So I'll just blur that. I think we need a bit more. Somewhere around here. Okay. Let me kind of check this from the front to be sure not to mess things up. Okay, it's mostly affecting the back side, not really the not so much the front side. So maybe I can do something like excluding some of this. Invert that selection. Then maybe you even use the standard brush. The standard brush rather. No, and I'll just hold Alt and just dig in words like so. Maybe even continue this on around like so. Yeah, this should be fine. Okay, you can see some gaps in here. Let me just select this. Let me scale this, increasing the topology for the subdivision level, so I can actually see this properly and then be able to push this back in. Since this one needs to sit closer to the, okay, I can actually push this inwards now. So just pushing this inwards. Yeah, this should be fine. Why creating the, I think this one goes in like so. Same for the other side. You just need to get this right before moving on. Very important. So I go out of symmetry and then just make some adjustment for this. So the clothes in the trouser should be actually fitting inside this hollow part in there, which is fine. So then I will just use the standard brush and then just carve out something around here. like so. Do the same for the other side. More or less to have this kind of folded down a bit. Okay, it should work just fine. I think should probably be safe enough. Should probably be safe enough now to even add our wrinkle detail in there. Need to push this one out like so. Okay. Any other corrections to this we can always make later on, but for now I think this should be fine. Then we can start detailing this even more. Maybe even add the seam. You also need to add like a kind of seam around the hem. With the dem standard brush, and just maybe go to a bit higher subdivision level for this. And do something around here. I'm doing this out of symmetry mode. Let me just isolate this. I'm not doing this with symmetry turned on. So this gap should kind of be where the stitches should be. So I'll do the same for the other side also. It's not something that has to be perfect. You just want to make it a bit like something that is done by hand and not with any machinery. Okay, something like this should be fine. You can always refine this later on, but for now we can kind of leave this as a placeholder for us to work with. Let me do the same also up here. Do the same for the top part too. I'm just following that guide we already created in there already. Okay, something like this should be fine. Yes, maybe probably even some of this we can just even do it instead of Zbrush. But we'll see. Or we can do them instead of Marvelous Designer. Let's just carry on with this and continue to add more details on this. So we can add some kind of placeholders in here. I believe we can add some placeholders in here. Okay, so I can continue making details on this now. I also need to think. Okay, let me just make some corrections to this first. I'll bring everything back out. Then I can continue working on where this lace should be, this rope lace should be. So I'll just go to a much lower subdivision. I think somewhere around there should be fine. Then with the move to, I can continue making corrections on this. Well, first let me just get a good angle to this first. Yeah, this is a better angle now. Then I would, let's see. I need to push. See which part I need to push out. Let me increase this like so. I think okay, it's the opposite side that needs to go up. So this is the side that needs to go up. This side needs to come down. So let me just go to a lower subdivision level like so. This will go in and this will go out. So I'm just gonna repeat the same. I'll repeat the same thing like so. This part should be out. Now push this in. I think I missed this part. This part is not where it should be. Can I push this out like so? This one should go in. Let's say this one should come out, then I'll push this one inwards. Yeah, something like this. And I'll just continue on like so. It should come out a bit more. Okay. Now I'm doing this out of symmetry, so I'll just do this for the other side now. It's more or less the same method, repetitive method. And this one should go out. And this one should touch this a bit more. This one should be inwards, inwards, out, out, and then inwards. This one should definitely be inwards. Something like this. So we'll try to create the illusion that these ropes are pulling where the hole should be, dragging it out a bit more. Then there should be some kind of deformation after that motion with the stitches, or rather with the laces pushing the material a bit closer to themselves. So I'll just push this inwards like so. So let me go to a much higher subdivision level and kind of refine this even more. Okay. Yeah, I missed one part here. I missed this one, so let me just push this closer. Something like this. Okay, almost there. Okay, I think we're almost close to getting this done. Then we'll do this for the other side also. So yeah, we're done with that. So let's just repeat the same process for the other side. So it should go out, and this one should go in. Let me find a good angle for this. Yeah, this should go inwards a bit more. Okay. And I'll repeat the same thing here also. This one should come out a bit like so, inwards, 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 then this should go out. So more or less trying to create some tension in there, more or less creating some tensions in there. So I'll do the same thing for the other side, inwards. Let me find a better angle for this. So this should go inwards, inwards, out like so. I think this should I think this one is not so defined enough for me to figure out what should be there. I can also use the corresponding angles for this. The corresponding angle should give me a clear idea or a clear path as to what to do. Something like this, yes, something like this. This one should be S out, in. I think this one is a bit too far. This one is a bit far apart. This one is a bit far apart. Let me just push this closer. And it's not defined enough. So let me push this in. This one should go out. Okay. I think something like this should be fine. It does not need to be completely perfect though. So maybe push this outward. Okay. Okay, I think this is fine. Now we can kind of see some tension in there. So we can kind of use this tension now as an existing pattern to kind of create some deformations in there. Just the way it is right here. So I think yes, let me just continue on. So I'm doing this out of symmetry. So we should have something like this. Okay, no, let me use the standard brush instead. Something like this. Something like this. Here also. Maybe take down the brush size for these parts. So now I'm actually creating tensions in there now. Alright, that's fine. So I'll do the same for the opposite side. Probably even increase the brush size a bit more. Then I can take the brush size down and then do something a bit tighter close to it. Alright, so that should be fine. I'll do the same for the other side too. So creating this for the other side. Basically checking where the tension part should be. So this one I need to push this outward. More like exaggerate it a bit more. Then I would use the standard brush and create that tension in there. Something like so. Do the same for the other side. So I've already created a guide ready for it, so I just need to create a connecting tension for that part. Then I start refining it now. It doesn't need to go all the way to the back because the back should be a bit tighter, so maybe something like so. Nothing too aggressive. Let's just fix something in there. Okay. The back part should be a bit smoother because there's a lot of tension going on in there. I'm also going to use the reference from this to kind of block that out properly though. But let's just see if we can get something in there. No, that's way too much. Something like this should be fine. So just dig. No, that's way too much. Something like this should be fine. So from this front view now, you can actually see the tension building up there. That is exactly what we want. So I think, let me use a smaller brush size. So if I go to a higher subdivision level for this, we can get that tension looking a bit better. So I can use the same standard brush and then kind of just add some kind of sharper definitions to it to make it feel more interesting. You don't have to go extreme on it, just undo that. Okay, you can even use the Alt key and then even dig in instead if you want to. I'm trying to define some of this pattern properly, some of this tension pattern. I'm trying to define them. Okay, I think this should be fine. So I'll just zoom out here. This seems fine. This seems fine. So another thing I'd like to do is kind of accentuate this line in here. So I might just use the standard brush, go to a much higher subdivision level. Then I would do something like this. More or less like a kind of seam line in there. Maybe I can even use a seam line brush to make this feel more defined, and even put that on a separate layer. I think I'll do just that. So let me just, okay, before I do that, let's check the back. Let's check the back side. Let's see how. Let's kind of correct this. Do something for the back side. So somewhere around here we can. I'm using the standard brush. Kind of define something like this. Then we'll use the Alt key to dig this in. That's not straight enough, like so. So I can use the Alt key to dig this in, something like this, like so. Dig this in. Yeah, that seems fine. Kind of exaggerate this a bit more. Connect it to the back. Kind of add an S curve in here. Dig this inwards, like so. Then let's try to connect this all the way to the back. Let's try to connect this. Let's connect this side also. So we should have something like this. Something around here defines this region. Then with the move tool I can move this back. Then no, with the standard brush I can dig this in, just to tighten this up a bit more. Something like this, something like this. Okay, that seems fine. Then continue this on back here and dig this in. Yeah, that work just fine. That work just fine. I'll probably need to do the same for this other side too. So we already have a defining factor in here. Then we can do something. Let me go to a lower subdivision level for this, just to have a better block out of this. Something that goes across like so should be fine. Then it should connect. It should connect to this also. So let's kind of connect that and connect this also in here. Then we kind of dig into this one in here also. Then probably define this a bit more, like so. Create an indentation in here. Do something that connects, something that, okay, let me just go to another subdivision level and do something that connects all the way here. Then we can create an indentation in here holding Alt and kind of sharpen it, make this a bit thinner. Okay, yeah, that seems fine. We can make this feel a bit sharper by adding another level in there and tighten this up, tighten this. Okay, maybe create an indentation in here, holding Alt to sharpen this down. With the move tool, I kind of move this to kind of change the general form of it. No, let me undo that. Use the same standard brush, like so. Tighten this up. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I think the tension now is actually there. You can actually work with this. Maybe just dig this in at the back. No, I think let me go to a lower subdivision level for this. I want to have a smoother transition around this in here. So I need to have a smoother transition. So that smoother transition to actually help us a bit more in here. I'm going to break the surface a bit more so it doesn't feel too smooth. Something like this should be fine. Okay. Yeah, I think this should work just fine. Yes, I think we're done creating. Let me just go to an higher subdivision level. Let's see the tension we have created in there. So this should work just fine. I think this is fine. So I think probably the next thing we're going to do is to take this to probably even Marvelous Design and then create the trousers for this. Then try to connect all of this back in here before creating this additional parts we have in here around the boots, and then around here then we can create this list for it. Okay, yeah, I think one more thing, I'm supposed to create something in here. So I said I was going to create some kind of seam line around here, so let's kind of create that. So I'll go to the layers, I'll go to the layer subdivision level, and I'll create a new layer for this, and I'll name this seam. I'll just name this seam. This will be like the last thing we'll do on this tutorial before moving on to the next thing. So I'm going to use like Zbrush for this. Yeah, I'm there already, so it should be let me just use this one. This will work just fine. So I can just do something, maybe let me use a much bigger process. I think this focal shift, let me change the focal shift. Let me see if this will work just fine. I think this should be fine. We can kind of follow on with that pattern in there. There's something like this. So I'll just continue this on. I'm going to be doing this on both sides. Also, it does not need to be, okay, I made a mistake here. A mistake on that part. This one should go in. This part should go in. So I'll just something like so. Something like this should be fine. So I'm going to be doing this on both sides. So maybe I'll just come back when I'm done doing the same thing on both sides. So I've done this same line now on both sides. Probably might still need to do it for this under part. Probably need to do it for this under part, and then yeah, I think I'll just do it for this on this under part, and I'll probably do it also for this top part also, and that'll be everything. Then in the next lesson we can just figure out what to do next.